The sun hung low over the quiet suburbs of San Diego, casting a warm, golden glow across the neatly trimmed lawns and white picket fences. Sarah Thompson pulled her old Ford pickup into the driveway of her modest bungalow, the engine rumbling softly before she turned it off. She sat there for a moment, hands still on the wheel, listening to the distant hum of traffic from the highway. At 45, Sarah lived a simple life, now a one that revolved around her job as a high school history teacher, weekend gardening, and quiet evenings with a book on the porch. No one in her neighborhood knew about the other Sarah, the one who had once soared through the skies at Mach speeds, her heart pounding in rhythm with jet engines. She stepped out of the truck, her sneakers crunching on the gravel path. The air smelled of fresh-cut grass and ocean salt, a reminder that the naval base wasn't far away. Sarah paused, closing her eyes, feeling the gentle breeze on her face. It had been 15 years since she'd left the Navy, and she buried the chapter deep inside. Her Top Gun license, earned after grueling months at the elite fighter weapons school, sat hidden in a locked box under her bed. She never spoke of it, not to her colleagues, not to her friends, and certainly not to her students, who saw her only as the kind teacher who made history come alive with stories of the past. Inside the house, Sarah kicked off her shoes and headed to the kitchen. The room was cozy, with wooden cabinets and a window overlooking her small backyard garden. She poured herself a glass of iced tea, the ice clinking softly against the glass. As she sipped, her mind wandered back, as it often did in these quiet moments. The relatable problem that had driven her to hide her past wasn't dramatic and not like in the movies. It was the quiet ache of loss and burnout. During her last deployment, her wingman, Jake Razor Harlan, had gone down in a training accident over the Pacific. They'd been close, like siblings in the cockpit. The investigation cleared everyone, but the guilt lingered. Sarah had pushed herself too hard after that, flying mission after mission until her body and mind screamed for rest. When her tour ended, she walked away, seeking normalcy, a life without the roar of afterburners, without the weight of command. But sometimes, in the silence, she missed the freedom of the open sky, the camaraderie of the squadron. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in soft pinks and oranges, Sarah's phone buzzed on the counter. It was her old friend, Captain Elena Vasquez, still active duty at the nearby base. "Hey, Sarah," the message read. "Air show this weekend. Come by? The kids would love it, and I could use a familiar face." Sarah hesitated, her finger hovering over the screen. Air shows were a trigger, stirring up memories she preferred to keep buried. But Elena had been there through it all, one of the few who knew her secret. Reluctantly, she typed back, "Sure. See you Saturday." She set the phone down and stared out the window, watching the stars begin to peek through the twilight. A gentle unease settled in her chest, like the calm before a storm. Saturday morning dawned clear and bright, the kind of day perfect for flying. Sarah dressed in jeans and a simple blue blouse, her hair tied back in a ponytail. She drove to the Naval Air Station, the gates looming ahead with their stern security checks. As she parked and walked toward the crowds, the familiar sounds washed over her, the distant whine of engines, the chatter of families, the occasional roar as a jet taxied on the runway. She met Elena near the entrance, where colorful banners fluttered in the breeze. Elena, in her crisp uniform, hugged her tightly. "You look good, old friend," she said with a warm smile. "Come on, let's wander." They strolled through the exhibits, pausing at static displays of aircraft. Children ran excitedly from one plane to another, posing for photos under massive wings. Sarah felt a pull toward an F/A-18 Super Hornet, its sleek lines gleaming in the sun. She ran her hand along the fuselage, memories flooding back at the feel of the stick in her grip, the G-forces pressing her into the seat. Elena noticed. "Still got it in your blood?" she asked softly. Sarah shrugged, forcing a smile. Ancient history. But inside, the problem gnawed at her. Hiding her past meant denying a part of herself, yet revealing it risked reopening old wounds. As the day progressed, the air show ramped up. Formations of jets thundered overhead, leaving trails of smoke in patriotic colors. Sarah and Elena found seats in the bleachers, the crowd cheering around them. Between performances, Elena leaned over. "Hey, they've got a flight simulator open to the public later. F-35 model, Want to give it a spin, for old time's sake? Sarah's heart skipped. The simulator was a gentle temptation, a way to dip her toe back without real risk. But it was public, a people watching, judging. I don't know, she murmured. Elena persisted gently. Come on, no pressure, just fun. Reluctantly, Sarah agreed. They made their way to the tent after the main show, where a line had formed. Two young F-35 pilots, Lieutenants Mark Thunder Riley and Alex Viper Chen, were overseeing the simulator. They were sharp, confident men in their late 20s, with easy smiles and flight suits zipped up neatly. Next up, Mark called, waving Sarah forward. She climbed into the mock cockpit, the controls familiar yet distant. The screen lit up, simulating a takeoff from a carrier deck. As the virtual jet lifted off, Sarah's instincts kicked in. She banked smoothly, executed a barrel roll with precision, and navigated through simulated enemy fire without a hitch. The crowd murmured in approval. When she finished, stepping out to applause, Mark and Alex exchanged glances. That wasn't beginner's luck, Alex said, his tone respectful. You've flown before? Sarah hesitated, the relatable problem surfacing. Again, admit it, or deflect. But something in their eyes, a shared understanding among aviators, softened her resolve. Yeah, she said quietly. A long time ago. Elena, standing nearby, grinned. Tell them your call sign, Sarah. The gentle twist unfolded slowly, like a flower opening to the sun. Sarah took a deep breath, the words feeling heavy yet liberating. Maverick's Echo, she said. It had been her call sign at Top Gun, a nod to the legendary pilots before her, earned for her uncanny ability to anticipate moves in dogfights. Mark's eyes widened. Wait, Sarah Thompson, the one who aced the inverted dive in '08? Alex nodded vigorously. Holy crap, ma'am, we studied your tapes in training. You're a legend. Sarah blinked, surprise washing over her. She hadn't realized her missions were still taught. The young pilots straightened, their postures shifting from casual to formal. In unison, they raised their hands in crisp salutes. Respect, Echo, Mark said, his voice steady. It's an honor. The crowd around them fell quiet, sensing the moment's weight. Sarah felt a warmth spread through her chest, a release of the burden she'd carried alone. She returned the salute awkwardly at first, then with growing confidence. Tears pricked her eyes, but they were good tears, the ones of healing. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows over the airfield, Sarah walked with Elena back to her truck. The air was cooler now, carrying the faint scent of jet fuel. See? Not so bad, Elena said, squeezing her arm. Sarah nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. For the first time in years, she didn't feel like she was hiding. The emotional depth of the day settled in her like a warm blanket, a acknowledgement from those who understood, a bridge between her past and present. Back home that night, Sarah unlocked the box under her bed. She pulled out the faded Top Gun license, running her fingers over the embossed seal. It wasn't a relic anymore, it was a part of her story, one she could share if she chose. She placed it on her dresser, visible now, a quiet symbol of integration. As she lay in bed, listening to the crickets outside, a sense of peace enveloped her. The skies might call again someday, but for now, grounded and whole, she was content. The next morning, Sarah woke to birdsong filtering through her window. She made coffee, the steam rising lazily in the sunlight. At school that week, she found herself weaving in a new story during class, a tale of aviators and courage, inspired by her own life. Her students listened, rapt, and for the first time, she didn't hold back the details. The relatable problem had faded, replaced by a gentle acceptance. Months later, at another airshow, Sarah volunteered to mentor young recruits. Mark and Alex were there, introducing her as the legend herself. She laughed, the sound light and free. Life wasn't about hiding anymore, it was about soaring in new ways. And in that satisfying, emotionally grounded ending, Sarah Thompson, a Maverick's Echo, found her wings again, not in the cockpit, but in the quiet strength of her heart.